Hey everybody, welcome to Wow Wednesday where we share words of wisdom. Today we're going to talk about clarify which side of the fence you're operating on. Clarify which side of the fence you're operating on. Now, a simplified version of that is choose which side you're going to be on. Okay, choose the side that you're going to be on. All right, I know that's not grammatically correct, but oftentimes in our life, we pick and choose what we want. We can pick and choose things that we like, things we don't like, we just kind of stay away from. But in our lives, when it really counts and when it really matters, we have to pick a side. We can't be indecisive. We can't be in between. We can't just jump over here and jump over here, and just say, okay, I'm down for it today and tomorrow I'm down for the other side. No, you got to choose what side of the fence you're going to be operating on. Okay? Now we played that game of musical chairs in school, and how we would go around the chairs, and it would have a certain amount of people that would go around those chairs. And so when the music stops, then everybody's trying to find a seat, but someone won't have a seat, because the game is designed for someone will end up having to lose the game. Somebody is going to find themselves without a seat. And so I guess the object of the game is find you a seat and sit in that seat. Okay. And so, we have a game called life, and it's almost like the survival of the fittest sometimes when we're dealing with things and challenges, and when we're making decisions. We really have to be in preparation for what is to come. Things that will happen, because you just never know. And so, when I'm talking about the clarifying which side of the fence that you operate on, some people just don't have a clear vision. Some people just don't have a clear idea of what it is that they want to do. What are you focused on? And what is it that you are desiring to do right now? And so, I'm sorry, I had a phone call coming in. Yeah, what is it that you're desiring to do? You don't want to get caught up in the double-mindedness. God talks about double-mindedness. And he said a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. So you will find yourself constantly being double-minded. Why? Because you don't know how to make a clear cut decision, because you're wrestling between two thoughts, you're wrestling between two ideas, you're wrestling between two concepts, you're wrestling between two belief systems. You're either in or out, hot or cold. God talked about that too in his word, and he said how if you're you can't be in between now, because he will spew you out of his mouth. You don't want to be lukewarm. You either in this thing all the way, or you out. You see what I'm saying? You have to be able to just pick a side and be content with the decision that you make, because at the end of the day, you're not fooling anybody but yourself. You're not deceiving anybody but yourself, because you decided that I'm just going to be caught up in between two decisions. No, you can't be caught up in between two decisions. Solomon had to make decisions, and he used wisdom. And he is one of our examples in the Bible. And when he had two women that were saying that was their son, that was their child. And so one woman said, well, you just cut him in half. The other woman said, no, just give her the son, give her the child, give her, because I don't want them, I don't want him to have to go through that. And the woman that said just give the child to the other lady, well, she was the real mother. And so Solomon made the decision. He used wisdom, and he said, okay, this is the child's mother. We're going to give this child to his mother, his rightful owner, But sometimes you get caught up in things. You don't really make those wise decisions because you get caught up in what somebody is saying. That's why a lot of times you can't really trust words of people. You get caught up in what they're saying, and then they'll convince you. Some people are smooth talkers. You got to be able to recognize that. Some people are smooth talkers, and they will smooth talk you to the point where they will convince you of a lie. Some people are just good at it. I've talked to my husband one time, on the job, I run it across a lot of different people, a lot of different personalities, as you know. And there are just certain women that just knew. I mean, they would talk so eloquently, but would be lying through their teeth. You know what I'm saying? Would sit there and would give you a story. You would be sitting there just all in, glued in, pulled in, drawn in, and would be lying. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't know the person, and you just meeting someone for the first time, and they just begin to spew out at the mouth, and they just get to talking, and they fast talking you, and they jumping from one topic to the next, and they doing this and doing that, you may not be able to recognize it. But when you know a person, when you begin to discern what's happening, God will give you insight. He will give you revelation. He will give you discernment about any situation or any person, so you won't be deceived. But we don't want to deceive ourselves because we operate in double-mindedness, because we're back and forth wrestling with thoughts and belief systems and things in our mind. But we want to make sure that we make a conscious decision, and then we want to make sure that we're receiving wise counsel from the Lord. There's nothing like receiving wise counsel from the Lord, because when God gives you that wise counsel, you are able to make those decisions, and then you know what? The end result will be success for you. The end result will be an expected end for you, because you have consulted the Father. He is the great counselor. You know what I'm saying? He is full of wisdom, full of righteousness, full of justice and goodness and fairness. And so you consult with the Lord, and He will give you the answers. He will help you to maneuver through decisions in your life. Because you can't be on both sides of that fence. Either you inside the fence or you outside of that fence. You either you either living for the Lord all the way, or you just living for the devil. Just go ahead and choose a side. You can't be on both sides. You got to make your calling and election sure. You got to make that decision, and you just go with what you believe is what you should do, or where you should be. If your lifestyle is contrary against the decision that you made, then there needs to be some changes in your life, right? Okay, so if you're trying to live all you know how and be saved and living for the Lord, but your lifestyle don't reflect that, then you need to make a total change. There needs to be a change, because you're on both sides of the fence. You see what I'm saying? Your lifestyle don't reflect what you saying out of your mouth, and your commitment to going to church and doing the religious thing, doing all of those types of things to show the people that you have some level of commitment to God, but that's outward expression, but inwardly your heart is not in tune and in alignment with what it is that you're doing, you're acting out, or you're manifesting. We got to let those two things line up. Now, your heart, your actions, your lifestyle, your decision make, all of that has to line up with what it is that you're actually portraying. Don't deceive yourself. Don't deceive yourself. That's the first person that's going to be deceived. You will deceive other people too, because hey, the devil, Satan, he poses as a wolf in sheep's clothing. So he's always in a position to deceive us. And people are like that as well. They want to convince you of what it is that you see on the outside is truly who they are, but it is not who they are, because inwardly there's a struggle. inwardly there's something happening, but you don't see it unless you are spiritually discerning what's going on. So clarify which side of the fence that you operating on. And what I mean by clarify, make a distinction. Make some clarifications. Okay, look, I know I'm on the Lord's side. You know what I'm saying? I'm not wrestling against this fence now. I'm not on both sides of this fence. I know where I stand. I know where my heart is. My heart is not to do the things of the world. My lifestyle in my private place, in my home, and everywhere I go will reflect what I preach, teach, all of that. When I go to church, all of that. I love God. So my whole life is wrapped around him. See what I'm saying? And so even in my private time, I'm thinking about God. That's relationship. That's love. That's commitment. That's letting you know I have put a distinction between, me stepping foot in the world or me selling out all the way and being committed to God all the way. I clarify. You don't have to guess it. It's no guesswork. I'm not manipulating nobody. I'm not deceiving nobody. My heart is in the right place. And so you got to get to that place where when your life, your heart, your mind, your will, your decision-making skills, what you're manifesting, all of that is lining up in the same place. Because folks don't have to sit there and wonder, what side of the fence is he operating on? What side of the fence is she operating on? It appears to be that she's saved. It appears to be that she's a nice person. She's loyal. It appears to be that he is a just person and he is righteous. It appears to be. You won't have to. You can take the guesswork out of it when you can clarify what side. Now we dealing with folk nowadays that are just, and I'm gonna talk about mental illness soon, but they do have some inner struggles mentally, and they don't know how to distinguish between what is real and what is not, or they don't have the ability to understand when they're not wrestling with their own mind. And that is something that really we need to talk about as far as Black people, because we don't address mental illness a lot. We don't even discuss it among the churches and various other groupings, but it needs to be discussed, because even with this pandemic and everything that's going on, a lot of people have gone through some depression and some other mental issues that they did not even know that they would even be involved in, that they would have even tapped into. But because sometimes when things happen to you, it brings about issues that may arise in your life that you didn't know were even there. And so we'll talk about that at another time, but I just want you to know, you got to clarify. Okay? Don't just talk about it. Be about it. God said, don't just hear the word, do the word. You know what I'm saying? Put this word to action. I'm not just going to sit here and talk this stuff and not live it. I'm not just going to pretend, masquerading in a ball and I got on a mask. I don't have time for that. And people, we don't have time for pretending. We don't. Make your decision. Decide who you are and walk in that. And you know what? If you're true to yourself, you can get delivered. You can get set free. If you realize I'm struggling because I'm on both sides of the fence, I need to figure out which side I need to operate on. I really need to do that. Just be honest with yourself. That's when you understand that you have a problem, and then breakthrough is right around the corner. Because now all we need to find out is how to get your breakthrough. How to break through so that you can get on the right side of things. so that you can be in alignment with what it is that you're speaking out of your mouth. Because nobody want to live a lie. Nobody want to live a double life. Nobody that's, in their right mind. But, let's strive to be all that we can be and being true to who we are. And make clarifications and distinctions. Like I said, if you're struggling in one area or the other, then it's time to just acknowledge the fact that I'm struggling. Yeah, I believe in God. Yeah, I believe in this thing, but I'm afraid. I'm scared. I'm fearful. I don't want to really just sell myself out and commit to this life. I need help. I need help being convinced that I need to just go into this wholeheartedly. I need some assistance. And God will help you. God will help you. He will send people in your pathway. And we have so many outlets nowadays that there is no excuse. There is no excuse. You can take out the excuses because you got different groups, you got counselors, you got all kind of stuff that, hey, the church may not have all the answers. I'm just going to be real. The church may not have all the answers, but there are other agencies and there are other groups and things out here that can help you to make those wise decisions. God has blessed them to be able to help us. So utilize those giftings, utilize those groups, utilize those communities, or whatever it is, other people. Because sometimes God will send you to a person, So, and I'm not just talking about in ministry when I'm saying choose which side of the fence, but as an individual, choose which side of the fence that you're going to operate on. Be true to you, yourself. Know thyself. Be true to thyself. And I guarantee you're going to be on the right track. Things are going to start looking up for you. And God is going to begin to transition you into greater things. He's going to transition and position you into great things, because now I'm choosing to embrace my authenticness. I'm choosing to embrace who I really am, and I'm lining myself up with that. So then now the devil, when he comes, or Satan, when he comes, you are thoroughly convinced that that's him, because now I know who I am. I know my thought process. I know all about myself, and I'm being true to me. So then when he comes with a thought, and when he comes with a person, you will be able to fight and resist him better. Why? Because you won't be conflicting, because you know that that's not you. You see what I'm saying? And then you know who God is, because you know his voice. You know his mannerisms. You know God don't come and cause all kind of fear. God don't cause all kind of evil thoughts, impure thoughts. You know that's not God. You will begin to recognize. You make the clear distinction between the two. You will know. So clarify which side of the fence you operating on. I hope this message enlightened you. I hope this message encouraged you. But you all take care. Be blessed on this wonderful Wild Wednesday. And we will be back again for another Wild Wednesday. How about that? All right, you all. Bye-bye now.